Let's get into it. I mentioned at the beginning that although PowerPoint in particular has been around for over 3 decades, we still see it done so ineffectively. Michael, could you lead us off by digging into that? Why do you think that's the case?
So I think, let's refer, for lack of a better reference, slidecraft and incorporating visuals. It's really kind of an art, and you have to learn or get a sense for how to do it with efficacy. And that takes time and it takes practice. And I think too few people are really willing to invest that time to learn how to do it, and also to find and curate, which is a really important thing in this process for visuals, curate and leverage unique visuals, which lend themselves to unique presentations, which lend themselves to presentations that you actually remember. So what I like to tell people is, PowerPoint, Keynote, very powerful tools, but just like in the Harry Potter context, a magic wand is an incredibly powerful tool, but even Harry Potter had to learn how to use it. So you have to learn how to use these tools. And when it comes to selecting, finding, curating visuals that particularly suit the argument you're trying to make to an audience to convince them of something, that takes time and practice. Good news is it's worth it, because in many cases you could have, if you're willing to put in the time and effort, powerful images that are unique to you that become unforgettable anchors. That's a word I like to use, an anchor for key points in your presentation. And that's what you want. Images that are really unforgettable versus disposable. One interesting thing for most people, in a way, it's unfair to ask people, well, why would the average business person have what a slide designer takes for granted? Well, that they wouldn't necessarily, but oftentimes, unless you're in the C-suite, you don't have the advantage of having a slide designer for your decks. It's up to you. What's great about this, if you're willing to put in the time, is you get better and better at it, and then you get to the point where you can't wait to present because you're so proud of what you've created. One interesting thing that people, I think, aren't necessarily aware of is where to find royalty-free images that don't look like bad, cheesy stock photography or stock images. So I'll throw out one example that I actually use a lot. There's many of them. Unsplash.com. It's incredible that all they want you to do is to credit the contributor, and you're welcome to use royalty-free worldwide any image you find and select. It's an incredible resource, and there are many of them. So in terms of how do I get better at this, how do I make my decks be the deck that the audience remembers? One, in terms of actual takeaways, I like to tell people, think of every slide as a billboard. A good billboard, if you're on, let's say 101 or or the 5, I'm trying to think of California, interstates, being a New Yorker. If you can cognitively absorb what's on that billboard at 65 miles an hour in the number of seconds it takes to go by it, that's a great billboard. And what you realize, if that's the case, is there's very little text to absorb, probably a headline, and there's an image that serves the cognitive purpose really, really well. So think of your slides as billboards, not as slides. Most people think of slides as pages in a book to be filled with text. Just the opposite. Second, you don't want to upstage great images, which you've taken so much time to find and curate, with a ton of text. Try combining signature visuals with one short headline, maybe even one word. Go out on a limb. Amazing, the point you're making is where you start. Amazing image, which took a long time to find. Maybe it's one or two words that can serve that purpose, because the bottom line is the meaning for the slide wants to come from the speaker. You don't want all the meaning and the text to be on the slide itself. 3, and by the way, none of this is rocket science. Believe me, I'm the last person to try to tell you this is rocket science. This is all basic common sense, but it's amazing how so few really observe this. And just go to a conference if you want some proof. 3, I try to tell everyone, because we all have these now. No one in New York, you don't see a person without this attached to them, their body, no matter where you are. These have these cameras in them. So I tell people, become a photojournalist. Start to create your own unique photo library with your iPhone. So if you take the time and you turn on your photojournalist cap when you're walking home, walking to the subway, going out to get whatever, and just be observant and say, oh my God, what is that guy doing? Take a picture. What is that ridiculous sign? Take a picture. That is the most incredible image I've seen in a long time, or whatever. Take a picture. The beauty of that, two main reasons why you want to do that. You start to accrue a library that's, number one, unique to you, and number two, completely and totally royalty-free. You can use it anywhere and everywhere, which is one of the troubles, the snags that people run into is, do you have permission to use that image? So start now. See if you can take a picture a day, and start to build up a library. You don't know when you're necessarily going to use that picture, but when the time comes, oh my God, there's that one, it's perfect, and it's yours, and you'll never see it in anyone else's presentation. So, number 4, a 3-part rule. Be spare, meaning every slide doesn't have to have an image. I love slides that have text only when there's 5 words, or 2 words, or 1 word. 2, be original. The easy way to have that happen is start to accrue your own photo library that nobody else is ever going to have. And 3, and I'll get into this later, is the whole goal is to be unexpected. I think it's the antithesis of bad clip art. So those are my actionable takeaways for you.
Oh boy, I hope those in our audience are taking notes, because you packed a lot in there, Michael. Just a few things that I want to emphasize. There was so much wonderful advice there. I really appreciate how much you're stressing the importance of making it signature and uniquely your own. It is such a wonderful way to promote not only the company that you represent, if that's applicable to you, but also your own personal brand in a very unique way. Also, I love the term unforgettable anchors. We say over and over and over again that the audience is there to see you, the presenter. They're not there just for your deck. The deck should not try to be a complete substitute of you. This is just intended to punctuate and enhance key messages and points that you want to make. And those unforgettable anchors are part of what can help make your message that much more sticky. This concept of curating is an excellent one. I love the idea of being a photojournalist. What a way to gather so much unique visual content that you can curate and bring into your arsenal. And then finally, I really appreciate the emphasis, and not in any way to discredit those who are skilled graphic designers. They're invaluable, but you don't have to be one in order to be good at this. And there's some free, great tools out there, as you noted.